Hello, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Naj and Jay here. I honestly view this place at this point as kind of like one of our second homes because we've been here so often, and we've had Michael on the show quite a few times. So you probably already know we're here at the Creative Vision Factory, and we have a new guest on the show. We're just going to call him just Joe Connor. And I feel like I got a couple of rebels next to me, some real rebels, and I love it, you know?
Certified.
They're more rebellious than
There's
you.
no question
100%.
about it.
Yeah. So we're going to have, I think, quite the discussion, but let's kind of get right to the main thing. What do you guys have coming up in November?
Well, last year at Brandywine Counseling, we put together a fundraiser that was, the genesis was the pandemic, and we couldn't do anything in person, obviously. It wouldn't have been prudent. So we were trying to decide what to do, and we came up with a Black Friday virtual fundraiser. And we kicked off at midnight on Black Friday, and we ran it until 8 o'clock on Cyber Monday. Mm-hmm. It went great, and we thought that was a one-and-done thing because, well, the pandemic was going to be over, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. We thought.
Well,
Could have been. Sorry, go ahead.
It's not, and it's still not really prudent, particularly we're in the healthcare world, and it just isn't prudent to do a live event for our agency. So we're going to do a second annual
Woo!
Nice.
Brandywine Counseling virtual Black Friday. And the reason we're here is last year I approached Michael. We've known each other a little over 10 years, I think 11 years.
Wow.
Okay.
And we sort of started in the nonprofit world together when I was poor and broke and riding the bus and living in West Center City and running the Addictions Coalition.
Wow.
And I approached Michael and said, listen, how can we benefit your artists here at Creative Vision Factory and also benefit Brandywine Counseling? And we came up with having the artists here put their art in the virtual Black Friday auction, and it went great. We put mostly, last year was mostly vases. This year, Michael can give you an idea of what's going to be, and we'll do whatever Michael brings us. Michael will give you an idea of what's going to be in. Last year, it was mostly vases. I think it's going to be more diverse this year. Mm-hmm. And the beauty of it was that we directly benefited and put money in the pockets of artists here at Creative Vision Factory that they were able to get into their hands in time for Christmas of last year. And Brandywine Counseling benefited because we split the proceeds 50-50.
Okay.
And it gave us the opportunity to give a direct benefit to people that are on the street every day trying to live. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what Brandywine Counseling does anyway. It's kind of our mission. We provide substance abuse services. We provide medication-assisted treatment for addicts. We do the needle exchange. We distribute Narcan on a regular basis in the community. And Brandywine is very close to the community. And there's a lot of interaction between folks that use CVF and the Brandywine folks. So it was a natural partnership. And Michael can tell you how many artists benefited last year. And I think he could give us a general idea of how much they were able to make.
Yeah, I think we brought home a little under $1,000. And so that was distributed amongst 14 artists, I believe.
Okay.
And
can I grab that one?
Yeah, you can grab this one
This
as well.
is gorgeous.
And so we, just like Joe was saying with the virtual event, we had made a ton of these mosaic vases, anticipating the 10th Wilmington Stir dinner where we would sell these vases.
Yeah.
Well, those canceled, and we had a large inventory, and then too, as an artist in a community in Delaware, we get hit up a lot for auctions. And my response to people asking artists to donate work to auctions is like, sure, we'll definitely donate work to the auction, but 50% of whatever sale has to come back to the artist.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I hold this line for me and my peers with Masters of Fine Arts degrees, and I most definitely hold that line for Creative Vision Factory artists. Mm-hmm. If you're working with a gallery that's worth their salt, you're going to be looking at a 40% commission anyways. If you're working with a really good gallery, you're going to get a 50% commission anyways.
Gotcha.
And so this was a really great way for us to get our vases out there, get money, like Joe said, directly in the hands of our participants, but also have it be a fundraiser for one of our affinity groups. Mm-hmm. And the great thing about Creative Vision Factory over the past 10 years is that we see folks who are clients of just about every single behavioral health service provider in the state. Mm-hmm. And so from our perspective in the service and advocacy that we perform for our members, we kind of see what's going on with all throughout the system. And there is a ton of overlap with our members who are also clients of Brandywine. and really commend the work that they're doing on the harm reduction front. And it was great to team up. So this year we're going to have, in addition to a lot more vases, we're also going to have some artworks. And so, again, too, it's like we've really been hurting out here with not a lot of gallery sales or shows or opportunities to even show work. And based off of last year's success, we're really looking forward to getting our work out utilizing this fundraiser.
No, go ahead. No, I'll shut up.
See y'all with me.
I know, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so for those who are just tuning into Naj and Jay and learning about the Creative Vision Factory and Brandywine Counseling. So you've already stated that Brandywine Counseling is for those who have issues with substance abuse,
Mental health issues. Criminal justice involvement.
Okay. And where are you located?
Out on Lancaster Avenue on the edge
Right.
of town.
Okay.
Right near the other studio.
Okay.
Yeah, right across from your former.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Some former place there in a little shopping center.
I actually
I have
live really
no
close
idea.
to there too. So
Anyway,
near my home.
out on Lancaster Avenue on the edge of town.
Okay.
Right past Green Hill.
Yep.
And are the services free or?
Sliding scale and
Okay.
insurance is accepted,
Okay.
and there's some state funding and all the normal things that go into a nonprofit behavioral health organization.
Okay.
Brandywine's been in business for in excess of 30 years.
Wow.
Okay.
I think it's important to understand that everybody needs an opportunity and needs a little help.
Yeah.
And as I sit here in my suit and my collar and stuff, Michael knew me when I was in a little different set of circumstances. I'm a former chair of the Governor's Council on Substance Abuse and Mental Health. I had a tremendous career, and about 14 years ago, after many years of sobriety, my life exploded. I mean, literally exploded. And I ended up on the railing of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge looking down at the water in Annapolis.
Wow.
And that didn't happen. But by the end of that day, I was in a hospital with broken bones and in serious condition, and my life had finally come to a place where I needed to do a reset because it was going to be reset for me whether I liked it or not. And I was in a world of hurt, and I was in bad shape physically, mentally, and I had legal issues because of the way I got from standing on that rail to what happened. And I spent a couple of years hanging out in gated communities that are operated by the state of Delaware, one in Smyrna, one in Georgetown, one over in Gander Hill, and one down at the Plumber Center. And when I left the Plumber Center in 2009, I became involved with the Addictions Coalition. It was shortly after that I met Michael. And I had the opportunity, through some people offered me a little bit of help, to get my real estate career back, get a second career in the nonprofit business, get to a place where I lost everything. I did a Chapter 7. I lost all my money. I lost my house. I was living in a group home when I came out, but over the last 11 years, many things have come back, and because people gave me a little help.
Yeah.
And all the folks that come here to the Creative Vision Factory are tremendous, wonderful people with creative and beautiful, beautiful lives and beautiful souls.
Yeah.
And they deserve, and our clients our consumers at Brandywine deserve a little help too. So what we're trying to do here is very simple. We have an organization that helps people day to day with those issues. Michael does tremendous work here. This is the last place around where people can come and feel comfortable. And it's getting harder and harder to take care of folks that need a place to be, and it's not getting any better.
Yeah.
So we've teamed up with Michael, and we're proud to do so, to provide a little help for our friends and to do it in a very direct way.
Yeah.
The best part of last year was when Michael said, "We've got the money," and I gave it all to all the artists. And it was
great.
like 10 days before Christmas. And all of those folks had the opportunity to make their own decisions about how to spend a little bit of money for Christmas. We want to do that again this year, and we want to do it bigger and better.
Right.
So tell us some specifics about this year. So, the dates, the times, like how
Sure.
you participate and all that kind of stuff.
Right now, if you Google Brandywine Counseling, you'll find information on the auction, or you can give me a call at 302-559-4688. That's 302-559-4688.
You're giving out the digits.
Right.
We can talk to you about how to donate. We will be having lots of other items. We're going to have we did a week to Puerto Rico last year. We're doing a week to Puerto Rico this year.
Wait a minute.
We've got a beach house in Bethany Beach. Last year we had some signed basketballs. I'm hoping that we have something similar. We will have lots and lots of dinner certificates, things of that nature that you can go online. It's very simple. You go online before the event and register as a bidder, and at midnight on Black Friday you can start bidding. And
That's
at
cool.
At 8 o'clock on Monday, the winners win, and you get your stuff. And it's really nice in the sense that it's painless.
Yeah.
What we did with the Creative Vision Factory is everything just stayed here. We got all our winning bidders, and then I distributed some, Michael distributed some, and some people came down and picked them up. So if you're interested in donating something, if you've got a piece of art of your own that you might want to give,
I'd like to submit
we had some other
Jay
art.
for donation.
We've had, yeah.
I don't know how much you'll get.
I would take Jay for a donation. You know, he's the best example of a wedding singer.
You know,
I
I stopped being property about 150 years ago. All right, so what I'm not going to be is back on the market player. Continue. Sorry,
Well,
I had to.
We do have several photographers that are providing photography services. So if
Yeah.
somebody happened to be a singer and they wanted to donate a couple hours of singing, we'd be in a position to be more than grateful to accept the donation of
Understood.
You know
artistic
what?
services.
Well done.
We are donating a song.
Yeah, no.
We will sing together.
I support that
You have this
wholeheartedly.
right here. This is
Yeah.
us. We will
Yeah.
donate a song.
And I want you to know
Absolutely.
that the performing arts also is creating a big tent here for
Yeah.
my arts union. So hold on to that 50%.
Well, all right,
Okay.
perfect.
Okay, all right. So you got a song for us, from us.
Okay, well,
As a
there you go,
donation.
and that's how it all happens. We go out and we ask people to help us. It's a lot of fun, and it's fun where you don't have to get off your couch. And when
I love that.
the last 8 or 9 hours of the auction, people were going wild and crazy, bidding
wow.
against each other for
Wow.
some of the stuff that we had. We will probably have a few more trips. We'll have some golf outings, things of that nature.
Okay.
I'm not ready to announce everything we're going to have
Yeah.
because I've got a few things, but then there's going to stuff that's still coming, and I don't
Yeah.
want to make somebody feel bad that hasn't been official yet. But we'll have golf outings, dinners, things of that nature. We had some furniture, we had jewelry, and we'll have all that again this year. But what we're really going for today is we want to partner with CVF, and we want to make sure that we can take care of and provide an outlet, a financial outlet for the art that the folks here produce, and a financial outlet that goes directly into the artist's pocket.
So, because you said that, the question that keeps ringing in my mind, when you say it goes directly to the artists,
Yes.
right? You've already mentioned that some of your artists suffer from mental illness. So, I guess in a way I'm thinking, is there anyone that can help guide them in how to spend that money?
That's Michael's job.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I think
Great
that
question.
we need.
I mean, I am smart.
It's
Yeah.
a question that we need to talk about, and it's something that we need to debunk. You know,
Yeah.
people need money. And,
Yeah.
And the best person who has agency over how that money needs to be spent is the said individual. Individuals who we are in contact with have so much of their own personal agency and choice removed from them. And if we are going to kind of build back and get them involved and have
Yeah.
people be part of a working economy, you have to fail forward.
Yeah.
And a lot of those lessons are lessons that I know all the hard-earned wisdom that I learned from my own financial trajectory.
Yeah.
We need more money. But first, also another response to that is that budgeting peanuts isn't really going to do a thing. All right, and we have lots of services out there that will tell you that we can help you with financial planning and budgeting.
Yeah.
Right.
Budget
Right.
what?
You can't budget
when
10
when
bucks.
90% of your income goes towards housing, there
Yeah.
is nothing. There's no budgeting your way to success. So we need to talk about really lifting people up in general, really advocating for incremental change and increases in
Yeah.
all kinds of supports and services. But that's a touch point for me because part of recovery to me, and I think Joe will will agree with me, is renewing agency and control and self-determination over your life.
Yeah.
You know, and so money is a part of that.
Yeah.
And then getting it wrong is just as good of a lesson. So I feel like we're talking about some of our artists last year who made a lot of vases. They were able to bring home a couple $100.
Yeah.
And two, like, I don't want anybody determining or saying to them where they can or cannot spend that. The individual knows where to spend it.
Absolutely.
And so we just got to create more opportunities to give them more chances to learn and think through it.
When I was virtually homeless, and it's not that long ago, I think it's important to understand if you've got nothing, getting $50 or $100 or $150 or even a couple of $100 isn't really going to change you really don't need a financial planner to tell you that you need some food, or maybe you need some shoes, or maybe you can at least pay your room rent for a week. Folks need to be able to make those decisions for themselves.
And I didn't mean that.
No, it's quite all right. I'm glad you did.
No, it's
But
like,
it gives us an
I would say
opportunity to talk about it.
There are people who have thought that question, and they're getting an answer
every day,
now.
every day, and then too, it's like we can't. I commend you for bringing it up because we have to talk about that.
There's a guy.
Talk about it more.
There's a guy in West Virginia right now, and I won't get too political, but there's a guy in West Virginia that thinks that folks, in order to get a little bit of child care help, should be put through the financial ringer and have to prove all kinds of stuff to get a little bit of child care help. Well, it's the same thing here. Nobody comes to me now that I'm back financially able and says to me, I got the stimulus money, right? You got the stimulus money. Nobody told me how I had to spend that. Why are we demeaning folks that are economically deprived and making it even harder for them to go forward and make some progress? There's a show on Netflix right now called Made.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. Oh God, it's triggering.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
And it'll tell you, I wasn't poor for that long, but I was poor, and I was in my 50s. And I had some advantages. If you look at what I look like a person that people will help, might be more inclined to help than people that look like you, Jack.
I understand.
And, I certainly did take advantage of that, but by the same token, I was poor. I was taking the bus down to Cherry Lane. A big day for me was to have $20 bus ticket. And, to understand what it's like to live at the edge. And if you're living at the edge, one of the things that will lift you up is a little dignity and respect.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. I get that.
Big time.
So, you already kind of gave us a little bit of your personal story, which is, we really appreciate that. And I'm honestly, genuinely just kind of curious about how you gained your perspective, because you very easily could have just kind of, well, I'm back on my feet and I'm going to just go back to selling real estate, but you don't have to do what you're doing.
I don't have to do it.
So what kind of gave you that frame of reference where you're like, no, I need to help out and not just take care of me?
Well, on September 21st of 2007, my circumstances changed directly.
Okay.
And I went into a new society for just about 2 years.
Right.
And I had choices. I could either live and thrive in that society and contribute to that society inside of an incarceration situation, or I could have went into a bubble. I have lifelong friends, one of whom is an executive chef. Others have, some of the folks that I spent my time with, and one of whom is an executive chef, and many people have done well. I have lifetime friends that I met in my journey through the correctional system. And I learned all kinds of stuff that I didn't know. I thought I knew a lot of stuff. I was 50 years old. I'd been around. I was, inclined to help. I was a helping person before that. I was in recovery for many years before I got into relapse. I was active in the community. I was chair of the governor's council. I did all those things. But when you find yourself in a situation where choices are taken away, and then you have to look around and you have to live in a society. And I don't know another way to say this. I lived in there's one society where I'm a minority. And I lived in that society where I'm a minority for 2 years. Well, I had a choice. I could fight that, or I could try to look at somebody else's perspective. I don't know that I was perfect at it, but I still see guys on the street 10 years later, 11 years later, that remember me.
Yeah.
And I never walk away. I don't always remember the names. We talk about something that we experienced in common. I ask them how their family is. And I have actual friends that I made in that period of my life. Because remember, we're all just people.
We're all just people.
And the folks that come here to Creative Vision Factory, that are clients and consumers at Brandywine, are folks that are just like you and me. And they have either a disease or some sort of an issue that's caused them to need a little help. And what we need to do as a society is we need to understand that we are judged by the way we treat the least among us. That, I'm not a religious guy at all, and I'm pretty much an atheist, but we are judged by how we treat the least among us. And I can sleep at night. I can sleep at night, and I can have some satisfaction. I get my satisfaction from doing this by seeing people thrive, by seeing people recover, by seeing people get the opportunity to be something that they're able to be with just a little bit of help. Nothing makes me happier than to get a call out of the blue from somebody that I was involved with maybe 20 years ago that still remembers, or somebody that I went through my journey with as well. And nothing makes me happier than that. I'm glad I got my financial life back. I'm glad I'm able to peddle houses again. I'm glad that I'm living in a better circumstance. There's no question about it. But I've got a whole different perspective about what's important.
I could ask, I have one more sort of big question. And then I think we should talk to Geraldo, because I'm excited to finally have that conversation.
Well, Geraldo's going to be with us in the auction as well.
Yeah.
Will he be present, or like just his art? Or
His art will be in the auction.
Yeah, absolutely, cool. So, big question again. Just sort of fundamentally, what do you think is or are the main sort of big pieces that need to be put in place to help the community that you guys are serving? Like, what is this? Is it just money? Is it just the dignity? Those are the big pieces. Like, what do you think? You know what I mean?
Well, you want me to try this, Michael? Since
Yeah,
I really
it's a
have,
huge
I have
question,
nothing,
I know.
I have nothing to lose.
Lawyers, guns, and money,
Yeah.
all on top of houses.
Right.
Let me be clear.
I'll give you the.
Let me be clear.
Yeah.
I'm a consultant for the Brandywine folks, so I'm pretty sure I'm not constrained. I guess they could fire me. I don't think they will. But-
Right.
and I'm now financially independent. I'm going to tell you something. There's a whole lot of people around this town that think they're helping, and they ain't. Not only are they ain't, they're actively hurting us. They're actively hurting the community. And I'm not going to name names, and I'm not going to give series
But
of.
if you want.
I'm not going to give you series
The
of
names.
series of initials that people may or may not recognize. I'm just going to tell you, when you walk out of here, and those folks on the corner right now can hang their banners and do whatever the hell they want, and I'm not saying that they don't have a right to do it, but those folks out there on the corner, they can hang their banners and do whatever they want. The folks that come here and get services here get followed up and down the street. When I had a homeless newspaper, my folks were harassed and harassed and harassed just for trying to sell a homeless newspaper so they'd have enough money to eat that night. And that hasn't changed. There's a thing called downtown something or other, and I would use a different word, and I would use blind. Downtown blind. The poor and the homeless. What the community wants here, the other community wants here, is invisibility of the poor and the homeless. And you know what? Ain't happening. Because the poor and the homeless are going to be here, and there are going to be people that speak for the poor and the homeless, and I intend to be one of them until I'm not around anymore.
What do you think? What are some of the biggest stigmas that we see? That are just completely false when it comes down to it.
If you've slept for a week down off of South Market Street in a camp, and
Yeah.
I've been in those camps, and you haven't had access to a shower, and you haven't had access to several other things, you're going to look and smell a certain way.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. That doesn't make you any less human, doesn't
Yeah.
make you any less smart, and doesn't make you any less deserving of being a member of the community. And that's the fundamental issue. You know, the community complains because people walk up and down Market Street. Well, guess what? Market Street was Market Street before it is what it is now, okay? Market Street used to be a place where you could come and feel comfortable in a diverse community when I was in my teens, 20s, and 30s, and go to dry goods on a Saturday and feel like you were in a community that you were welcome in. The folks that live in the city, in other parts of the city, to a great degree, are not given an opportunity to feel comfortable taking advantage of the services that are offered in the city that are supposedly public services.
Yep.
You know, okay, you know, we don't want you at a certain square where the statue is missing. We really don't want you on the riverfront. So maybe if you go over to Southbridge, but hey, we're going to redevelop Southbridge, so maybe you don't want to go there anymore either. And you know, the idea of pushing people out, and gentrification is fine. I have no problem with it. I sell expensive houses. I sell beach houses. I make money, but everybody deserves a little dignity and deserves the opportunity to be comfortable in the area where they live. And you know, these guys following people up and down the street, if people are not doing a darn thing other than trying to live life and get from point A to point B, you know, it's got to stop. And until everybody has an opportunity, there's going to be the tension and all the things that happen in this urban community, and it's not going to get a whole lot better until people start working together and stop looking the other way at folks that are.
What we've seen too is, like, I mean, we're coming up next December is our
that's
No,
what we
don't
wanted.
apologize.
Literally what I wanted.
Right on.
I wouldn't have asked it if I didn't.
Our doors here this December, our doors will be open for 10 full years.
10 years.
Wow.
Looking at those 10 years, my evolution of my understanding of the issue is definitely has gone a complete 180 as well during this, and I feel like what I've seen on the ground is a lot of individuals exhibiting very predictable behaviors that are so predictable because they're born out of the extreme conditions they're navigating.
That's actually a really
so these
interesting
behaviors will seem extreme, seem different. Like, we have to get curious about where it's coming from.
But predictability is such a good thing.
Oftentimes, we'll call these things a whole spectrum of mental illness. Oftentimes, we'll call this, you know, substance abuse. Let's try to get a little experimental and see what happens when we take care of basic needs, and then see what happens to the individual.
Right.
And so I feel like what we've had with the pandemic, what we've had with the Newcastle County Hope Center, what we're seeing across the country and all the emergency hotels across the country, is a lot of what housing advocates have been talking about from the jump, is that we have to center housing first. We have to center, like, have you ever tried to take care of yourself living in the camp, taking a bird bath in a 5-gallon bucket? Have you ever tried to, like, show up to a job interview in those conditions? Have you tried to just get from one part of town to the other part of town to make a simple appointment?
Right.
You know, so people are in extreme conditions. They are surviving and navigating extreme conditions, and those behaviors may appear to be extreme. We need to lessen the extremity of those conditions,
Right.
center people's needs, and we are so behind on the units of housing that we need to say yes to everything. Like, you know, build, and then some. But also, you know, really looking forward to, you know, perhaps the next 10 years of getting into an era of kind of creativity and experimentation and innovation to try some new things out with these new tools that are coming down the pipeline. If we can get this, you know, that one gentleman from West Virginia on board, you know, we could do something. A generational change could take place, and that's what we really have to keep an eye on. That and elections matter, and we have to be involved and active. But
I really love that point you made about the predictability. I never thought about it, but it's like, we know what's about to happen here because we've seen. Like,
it's like one of my favorite quotes from the autobiography of Malcolm X. Is he says, you know, some people call me extreme. Yes, we are in extreme state, state, and it's really hard too. It's really hard. You know, Joe, you know, made reference to the downtown. You know, my wife and I took in a show on Friday night at the Grand Opera House. It's been a while since I've been out on Friday night, and it was one of the most triggering experiences I've had as of late. Just simply like walking to the Grand and then walking back to my car, just to see a certain set of the population happy, joyous, and free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a certain set, not so much.
Yeah. And so we carry those divides. Those divides are kind of part of my day-to-day life here in the city, and too, just to kind of bring it back to this opportunity, it's like opportunities where we can put money in the hands of individuals. We need to create and generate as many of those as possible.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And two big port and a linchpin of recovery
Yeah.
is
So-
self-determination.
So I
a
sense that
linchpin of recovery is self-determination.
Yep.
That's the quote right there. But yeah, sorry.
So I sense that maybe we're winding down a little bit, so I have a couple of things I want to get out there.
Sure.
One is 302-559-4688. Give me a call if you want to donate a service, and I'll hook you up. Or Google Brandywine Counseling, and it'll come right up. It's brandywinecounseling.com, I believe, but Google Brandywine Counseling, it'll come up.
Perfect.
But I have indicated that maybe I'm going to have a further relationship with you guys, and I've got something that I'm going to start doing. And I'm going to figure out how to market that, but we're going to start right now. Michael needs all the help he can get, and the Creative Vision Factory is on the cusp of breaking out, for
Yeah.
lack of a better term. And it's going to break out, and it's going to break out in a big way. And I want to be involved in that, and I've been very lucky. So, when you're buying something and you're going online and it's got that last thing, put in your promotional code.
Yeah.
Well, what we're going to do, and I haven't figured this all out, we'll work together with this going forward, but I'm going to be providing an opportunity for anybody that finds me in the real estate world through my work with Creative Vision Factory, a promo code, and it'll just be CVF, the promo code. And for anybody that does that, and I sell a house or they buy a house through me, I'm going to take 10% of my net
Wow. That's
every
a lot.
single time somebody uses that promo code, and I'm going to donate it to the Creative Vision Factory. And that starts right now. So if you want to buy a house, if you do want to buy a house, just 559-4688. I'll give you the promo code, and we'll take care of you. But the one thing I've learned, a real lesson I've learned, is when you're on the way down, you kind of become tunnel focused on the problems you have. Then you hit the bottom and you're on your way back up. And every single person that does anything to help you in that period of time when you're on your way back up, they matter. And they don't stop mattering.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to operate a nonprofit 10 years ago, and Michael was just getting started, and there was another guy around town that was a contemporary of ours that was doing the same thing. And, we talked to each other on a regular basis. I was working for peanuts. I was not selling houses. And everybody that helped me when I was living at 9th and Monroe or when I was living on Broome Street, okay, those folks were the people that gave me the opportunity to come back. My goal in life, I'm not getting any younger, and I don't really my needs are met. So what I'd like to be able to do is help other people as I wind down my career. And so the promo code will be CVF. The number is 302-559-4688. Brandywine Counseling. The auction is the virtual Black Friday. It starts on Friday night, the Thursday night at midnight of Thanksgiving, and it runs until Monday night at 8 o'clock on Cyber Monday. You'll be able to log on and register and buy all kinds of stuff. And I particularly want you to consider buying any of the art, the vases, and all the other art that we're going to have available from Brandywine. And we're going to have a great time. And I can't thank you guys enough for giving us an opportunity to get out here and use your megaphone to let people know.
No,
This is
thank
why
you.
we
This
do
is-
what we do.
yeah.
You know what I mean? This is the exact reason.
We thank
so.
you for the opportunity. And just so y'all know, that means y'all ain't got to leave the house Thanksgiving night. You can have a turkey leg and your phone on.
Right.
midnight.
You don't have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning unless
Exactly.
that's
Just
the
roll
time,
over.
unless that's the time you wake up. In which case you can turn your phone on and click in the
Right,
button.
grab some yams and a roll.
I love it.
But thank you guys
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And Michael, this place is a gem,
Yes,
It is.
and
it
it's a
is.
gem that must continue.
Yes.
So,
Oh, it will.
it's going to.
We got you.
It's going to continue and it's going to thrive. But this place is a gem, and not enough people know what CVF does. CVF does. Brandywine's a larger organization. I think lots of people have come in contact with Brandywine, but we work together.
Yeah.
We work together.
That's what it takes.
Brandywine provides one kind of service, but the Creative Vision Factory provides gut level service. And there's nothing like gut level service.
And up next, Geraldo. Right?